I know what you're thinking. What the hell is that thumbnail and title all about? I shall explain. There's been some videos rolling around and some things coming out of E3 and stuff, and I've been sort of meshing things together. First of all, Demon Ralph, if you don't know him, look him up, good YouTuber. Big up Demon Ralph, I know you watch, thanks brother. He put up two videos. One was talking about Microsoft and Steam reacquainting themselves with each other, because as we all know they had a bit of a falling out. Now they're working together again. Woohoo! More choice for the gamer, greater choice of games, yada yada yada. All positive, you would think. Yeah. And you'd be right to do so. That's a positive move. Lots more cheap games for your PC and so on and so forth. These are good things. Then it also turns out, from another video from Demon Ralph, that basically Steam themselves are talking to, or at least posed the idea of talking to small VR developers and saying, we'll give you a bunch of cash to help you with your VR games, but one, we want first dibs, and two, we also want you to make sure that the games you create are not for a singular system. So not just for Vive, not just for Oculus, not just for PlayStation VR, but for everything. Then, thirdly and finally, although admittedly it came first, we all may remember watching the Microsoft press conference, or at least we've seen stuff from it in clip form. But the important thing for this particular video is Scorpio. Now Scorpio, aside from all its other rather intense whiz-bangery, and quite frankly, even as a PlayStation guy, it looks kind of awesome. And I hope Sony do something of a similar mark. They said it's going to be VR compatible. And we have to remember that Oculus VR comes with an Xbox One controller in the box. So if we begin to mesh these different things together, we start to work out a rather interesting picture. A powerful system that can do VR, partnering with a developer that has a whole bunch of games, and it wants to put a lot of money into VR games, and making sure that those VR games will be accessible on Windows platforms. And all the way through E3, every single game was for Windows, for Windows 10 and for Xbox One, because Windows and Xbox are being part of the same family. They're being considered the same ecosystem. Food for thought, isn't it? I just thought I'd say that to you, let you ruminate on that and sort of roll it around in your brains. And then, once you've rolled it around your brain a bit, put your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'd like to get your take on this. Is this Microsoft, really planning for the future? Because they know that Sony got the drop on VR, because scare stories have come out from other companies and other developers, and we've never been told who these developers are, which I find interesting, that they're not so impressed with the way that PlayStation VR looks. Yet, it was said on the stage of this year's E3 at the Sony press conference that the 40 million PS4s that are out there can all handle PlayStation VR quite lovely, thank you very much. So, I'm thinking there's a kind of a war behind the war. There's some manoeuvring, there's some shifting of allegiances, And I think Microsoft is going, right, so you guys at Valve, could we like do some work together? Because, let's face it, HoloLens 1 is at least 2 to 3 years away from actually being a consumer ready. And 2, it's not VR, it's AR. And as cool as AR is, and let's face it, it is really cool, you know? VR's kind of what's hot right now. And if the VR developers can get it right, then it should continue to be hot for at least a good couple of years. You know? And then once you've got VR rolling, you can step in with your AR, you know, and you have a mix of VR and AR kicking off together, you know? Sky's the limit. And I think Microsoft want to fly in that sky. Which obviously means, if this is true, then whatever Sony are planning, maybe they're doing a similar thing to Microsoft. You know, maybe they have their Neo system, which is like the Xbox One S, and maybe they'll have another PlayStation system, you know, that'll come out roughly the same sort of time, with similar, if not, if I know Sony, greater specs. Because generally speaking, the PlayStation machine has usually been the most powerful on the market. And Xbox has said, oh, our machine's whatever, which it might very well be as it stands right now for what we know. But Sony being Sony, I don't think they'll let that stand. I think they'll go, alright, you doing this, we're doing that. And I think what Sony will do is they'll double down on the whole idea of being for the gamer. You know? So I think interesting times ahead. So I think the VR battle is very, very, very on. Anyway, typey down below, or on Twitter, or in my community. You know, wherever you like. You can come to my channel page and leave me a big long message there, whichever you like. Involve yourself in the discussion, guys. I think this is an interesting one. And I don't think anybody else has thought of this. And if they have, then please direct me to the video. And if anybody else, please direct them to this video. I think this is an interesting one. Anyway, I am now going to leave this video in the manner that I usually do. So please remember to rate, favourite, comment, share, and subscribe. And of course, as always, I ne bother.